Namaste, everybody. Hey? Okay, continue. Yes. Never had that before. My other computer asking me about the recording coming up. Okay, so let's just start lying down on our backs. I think this morning, just sticking with the gentle theme of keeping a bit of strength in our core, but without, depleting ourselves. So coming to lie down, perhaps with your feet on the floor. You could have a little folded blanket or something really thin under the head, if you feel that that's useful to you. And just have the arms out with the palms facing up, a little bit away from the body. Tuck those shoulder blades in towards each other. Find your feet at about hip distance, maybe just smallest amount wider than hip distance. But just find your sweet spot there, not too close to the buttocks, not too far away. So you feel like your back is in neutral, lying along the floor, and that there's no stress in either the belly or the thigh muscles. Take a deep breath in through the nose and sigh out slowly and gently out through the mouth. And repeat it once or twice more. Each time you exhale, just letting go a little more fully any tension, anxiety, worry held in the muscles, held in the features of your face. And as you begin to surrender and relax, just notice if there is a little tweaking that's required in your posture, in your holding. I often want to just roll my head from side to side a few times after relaxing. But you might find it somewhere else, a little adjustment in the feet, the hands, just to make sure that the body is fully receptive and able to relax. Allow the breath to gently deepen, and I just want you to keep a little bit of a focus, deepening the inhalation, drawing it in deeply and softly into the body, no stress or strain. And the exhalation, just like an ironing out, a relaxation of the body. More a little focus on the inhale this morning as we draw the prana into the body. And you might even like to imagine, particularly if you've been unwell or you feel you're on the cusp, which is actually where I'm at, we can inhale as if we're drawing in healing particles of light or energy. And as we exhale, that those particles of energy can activate the healing response of the body. So we're just doing a gently deepened inhale and simply natural exhale. Just allowing the body to be completely relaxed, really just as if you were lying in bed, just this sense of deep ease, no need to be going anywhere or thinking of anything, and let that really be shown also in the features of your face, nice and relaxed through the eyes and jaw and lips. And feeling into what is presenting for you today. So what's your mood like, what your energy levels are like, what the body sensations, aches and pains are like. So just really a little morning assessment on where you're at. And know that during our yoga practice, we are always willing to meet ourselves where we're at. So we don't need to push through anything or ignore anything, but simply to be present with how we are showing up this morning and working with what we've got and working towards balance, not pushing through something or ignoring something. So just finding that level of awareness and working with that. And then from there, I'd like you can let go of the breath to a degree. I'm always going to keep a little bit of an eye on it, and just begin to lift the hands so you can begin to rotate through the wrists. And you might like to just lift the balls of the feet off the floor so you can have a little play through the feet. So a couple of times in each direction with the wrists. And then as you're ready, begin to lift your feet off the floor and hug the knees in. A little squeeze to awaken the lower back and hips. And then just widen the knees enough that you can begin a little rotation of the feet, the ankles. Placing one hand on each knee and beginning to make little circles with the knees, so we're massaging around the sacrum. And then changing direction. And then placing the feet back on the floor nice and wide as your mats perhaps, or if you've got a round mat like me, as wide as your shoulders. Arms can come away from the body quite a lot. We take an inhale, and as we exhale, our cat gets in the way. We're going to drop the knees down to the left and going to the right because my cat's in the way. And then use the inhalation to come back up and the exhale to drop down to the right. Inhaling to the center, exhaling, dropping knees to the left and head to the right. And then inhaling, center, exhaling, opposite directions. And just continue this little flow for a while, a few more rounds. Dropping down to the left next and just holding there for a moment. Letting that right thigh and knee dropping towards the floor. And then inhaling center and exhaling down to the other side as you allow that left knee and thigh to drop. Reach for the floor. And then on an inhale, you can bring the knees back to the center and hug them back into the body. Taking a little moment as we inhale, use your exhale to just curl your sacrum up so the knees are drawn in towards your body, and then the inhale as they drop back down. And the exhale as we just curl in, lifting the sacrum off the floor and then dropping back down. That's the inhale, drop down, the exhale to execute, and inhale to release, and exhale to lift. Try and relax through the shoulders and neck, and just repeat a couple more times just to gently awaken and say, good morning, belly. Good morning. Good morning, pussycat. Very affectionate. She's a bit put out with this new foster kitten I got. Oh, gosh. All right, so the knees are just in the middle now with the feet off the floor, and the arms can come out shoulder height along the floor. Take an inhale, and as we exhale, we're going to drop down to the right-hand side and just slowly release the legs down and hover them to the floor without letting the legs come to the floor completely. And then inhale back up to the center, and exhale, dropping the knees down to the left-hand side, slow motion, and letting them just hover for a moment as you almost reach the floor. And then inhale, press back up, and exhale over to the right-hand side. Begin to squeeze the thighs together as you particularly want to push back with that right thigh back into, or leg back into the left, to keep that hover there just for a moment. And then use an inhalation to push that right leg up. So we bring both legs back to the center, and exhale. Slowly resisting, particularly now with the left leg resisting the floor as we drop it down towards the floor. Push away, push away, push away, and that right leg a little bit heavy. So it's like the legs are squeezing into each other. And holding there for a moment with that resistance. And then use the inhalation to push yourself back up to the center. Perhaps a couple of little circles with the knees as you arrive in both directions. Make sure the back is happy. And then we inhale, and then this time we're going to exhale. Bring the knees up towards our left underarm or left arm, and then inhale back to the center, and then exhale, lifting the knees up towards the right underarm. Inhale, center, and exhale, left underarm. So just repeating that a few more times in your own time. I'm going to complete one more round, left to right. And then we can drop the feet to the floor. Make any little adjustments you need to. You wriggle down a little with those things. Feet are at hip distance underneath you. And now we're going to do this little sacral bob, a little like bouncing the basketball, little dribble. It's the sacral dribble. No, that does not sound good. Now we're a little bobbing back and forth with the sacrum, just tapping into the floor. The feet press into the floor a little gently to support, and then we tap the sacrum up and down the floor, just beginning to stimulate the nerve endings that are found there at the sacrum, but also to get that little action in the belly, just warming the area up without taxing our energies. A few of us not so well. It is that season where colds are coming, so how can we work with some strengthening without the depleting? So just a little bit more. I find this useful if you do it for a good minute or more. Tapping, tapping, tapping. Up. And you'll feel the area begin to warm up. Keep the feet just pressing into the floor and support. We want to keep some of that tension out of the thighs. And then slowly just allow that to stop and just let the body drink it in. You could even drop your knees into the center and turn your heels out a little bit more. And take a deep breath into the belly. Use the inhalation to stretch out the area. And imagine that you are breathing into all the tension that may have accumulated in this area and using the exhale to breathe it out. And then once again, we're going to lift the feet off the floor, and this time we're going to bring our hands actually alongside the body with the palms facing down. If this does accumulate some tension in the neck and shoulders, you can also interlace your hands behind your head and relax back down that way. So see how you go. Lift the shins so they're parallel to the floor. We take an inhale, and as we exhale, we're just going to drop the toe down to the floor. So reaching the foot out and down, toe tap, inhale back up, exhale the other foot down, toe tap, inhale, lift up, and then exhale, heel tap with the right leg. Well, I'm using the right leg, whatever leg you've used. Inhale it back up and exhale the other heel down. And then we inhale, lift up, and exhale the toe down. Inhale, lift up, and exhale the other toe down. And then we change it into the heels. So just a few more rounds in your own time. Relax through the shoulder, relax through the neck. Try and keep the effort and work in the abdomen. So finishing on a round of heel tapping. And then just hug the knees in, little squeeze. You might like a little rock from side to side. You might like to let those knees fall out from to either side and just rock from left to right. If you've got anything under your head, we're going to get rid of that. And now with the hands alongside the body, we're going to lift the legs up and lift the sacrum lower back, clean off the floor, and then roll forward, and then lift it, clean off the floor, and then roll forward. So it's a little bit like being on a swing at the playground, and you might like to use your hands to support that lifting. Once you've got it, you might not even need the hands to support you as you roll. So I'm probably going to come off camera a little bit, but we're going to see if we can roll all the way to standing. So get your momentum, inhale, reach up, push up. Maybe it's just squatting. Maybe we'll just do it to squatting, and I'll adjust my camera. You can have a play with that at home, this idea of all the way to standing. Okay, so hopefully, where are we? Are we squatting or standing? Okay, yeah. If you've already come up, that's okay. We're going to start here in, yeah, so if you're squatting, let's just bring our buttocks up, tuck the feet in so they're hip distance. You might like some blocks to have for some support. And then we just fold over. Take a couple of breaths to enliven the back of the legs. Have the knees a little bit soft here, so you're not overstretching, overtaxing the spine or hamstrings, but more importantly, the spine. You can have a little sway from side to side. have a little play, just seeing what's going on in the body for you. And then bend the knees deeply and let the head and arms hang. We're going to roll up slowly like a rag doll. And then use another inhalation to lift the arms all the way up and over the head. And exhale, bringing the hands through the center to the heart. Interlace your fingers and inhale, push out. And as you exhale, take the arms up and lift the heels off the floor and begin to squeeze the inner thighs together and push into the ball of your big toes. Take an inhale there. And as you exhale, slowly release the hands out to the side, bend the knees and slowly bring the heels to the earth as you fold forward, taking the arms back behind you and turning the thumbs up towards the ceiling. So the palms of the hands are facing away from each other. And then on an inhale, swooping the arms down and forward, bending the knees into our chair pose and lifting the arms forward. So we're actually in Utkatasana. And then use an exhalation to push the feet into the floor to straighten the legs and arms release down. Inhale, push the feet into the floor, belly back towards the spine as the arms rise out and up. You might like to watch as the hands meet. And then as you exhale, drawing the hands back down to the center, to the heart, and the opposite interlace with the hands. As we inhale, push the hands away from you. And as you exhale, lift them up over your head as you lift your heels off the floor. Squeeze the inner thighs together. Draw the lower navel in and press into the ball of your big toes in particular. Take an inhale, reach. And as you exhale, release the hands. Begin to bend the knees. And slowly we drop the buttocks down as we bring the heels to the floor. Turn the palms away from each other so the thumbs come up towards the ceiling and release your head towards the floor. Like that's not too complicated. Take a nice deep inhale here. Exhale, and then use the inhale, next one, to bend the knees and sweep the arms down and forward. Keep the buttocks low, knees bent as the hands come up and over. And as we exhale, we're going to push the floor away from us, straightening the legs and releasing the hands down. Now this time, inhale, the arms are going to come out and up and the heels lift off at the same time. Exhale to just strengthen here, squeezing inner thighs together. Inhale. And as you exhale, just arms are going to come a little forward now. And we bend the knees and we're going to see if we can keep the heels off the floor as we come into Uttanasana with the heels high. Take one more breath there. And as you exhale, folding forward, bringing the heels down and just folding over your thighs. Yum, 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 yum. Half lift on the inhale. You can use your blocks or your legs in support if you need the support or the floor. Exhale to fold again. Yum. Just take a nice full breath here. Let's roll it out through the shoulders actually while we're here. So having that swimming action with the shoulders as you hang loose here and change the direction. Swing your chin from side to side. And then take a half lift on the inhale. And then as you exhale, lift that left leg. Let's lift the left leg. I'm using blocks because it's quite useful when we're just lifting the leg, seeing if we can bring the leg just in line with the hip, and then rotate the ankle a few times in each direction. Lengthen from that back heel to the crown, be lifting in that lower belly, and then bend the right knee and guide the left foot down to the floor. Get comfortable in your feet. Actually, take the right hand onto the right knee. And then kick into that back left leg and then reach up with the left arm. And we're like a half an arrow here. Reaching from that back heel, that back foot, but particularly the heel pressing towards the floor and reaching all the way to the fingers. Use an inhale to lift up, and you can support yourself on that leg if you need to. Lifting the arm so it's directly over the shoulder, and then dropping the back heel behind you and letting that left arm drop back in line with the shoulder and lifting the right arm in line. So we're here in warrior. And then I'd like you to just rotate out through your wrists a few times in both directions. And then come into the pose. So just feel your feet, pressing into the floor. Your tail, north and south axis, tail and crown reaching away. Hug the shoulders back into themselves as you reach the fingers away in opposite directions. Take an inhale and drop the left arm to the back leg, and that right arm reaching directly up. And as you take an exhale, see if you can guide that front knee a little further over the ankle. Take one more breath there, inhaling, maybe deepening the stretch, maybe not, it's okay. And then as we exhale, straighten that front leg, reach up from that back foot to that lifted arm, and then exhale slowly. Press both feet firmly into the floor as you reach forward. And you can just hold here, reaching forward with the straight leg. And you can just have that left arm go, in line with the shoulder, or you could try if you want, if you're feeling stronger today, we're working a little bit more with the core of taking the arm over. That may not be very pleasant. Take one more breath and then exhale, drop the right arm to your shin or indeed to a block. So you can have a little bit of support. Otherwise, if you are working with me with the strengthening of the core, then we're not even placing our hand on the shin, but we're placing the back of the hand on the inner calf and pressing that hand into the leg as we reach up and rotate the chest and lengthen up to the left hand. One more breath there, and then we exhale. Take that left arm forward and down. Lift the right heel off the floor and bring it in line with the toes. And then let's just slowly release that back knee down. I see it's not a lot of enthusiasm. But if you haven't done yoga for a while, then, we are in the strengthening phase of this sequence of this series. So, it's a little bit maybe more to come into. Okay, so hands can just be on the floor, or I'm supporting myself this morning with blocks. You can inhale and pull that right hip back as you bow over the thigh. Rounding a little bit, you might like to draw your nose towards your knee. And then exhale, rock forward. Begin to press the back foot into the floor and lift your heart and gaze a little upward. And then inhale, pull that right hip back, drawing the hips back over that left knee. And use an exhalation to just drop in a little more deeply. And then the inhale as you rock forward. And as you begin to come forward, press that back foot into the floor. Now begin to squeeze the back knee and the front foot towards each other into the midline. And then as we exhale, we'll take an exhalation. Let's just bring that right knee alongside the left at hip distance into cat pose. You might like to just wag your tail so we're not working perhaps as hard as we might. Swaying the hips from side to side to alleviate any stress in the spine. And to just give this sort of nourishing aspect to the practice. Swaying and rotations and things to me are just incredibly nourishing. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, just drop the head and tail. Press the floor away from you. Squeeze the inner body into itself. And use an inhale as you're ready to roll up to the opposite cow. Up cat, as I like to call it. Press both the feet and knees towards each other. And then exhale as you drop the head and tail. You can do the opposite. Press the feet and knees, hands and knees away from each other as you drop the head and tail, and squeeze the head and tail towards each other. And then inhale as you draw knees and hands towards each other and almost pull the sit bones and heart away from each other. And exhale. Opposites again. So hands and knees pull away from each other as they press into the floor. And the face and hips push towards each other. Just a couple more rounds in your own way, with your own instructions and ideas. And if you want to add any other little movement that feels right for your body, then you can also do that. As you're ready, tuck the toes under and use an exhalation to drop the buttocks down towards the heels as we stretch the arms out in front of us, finding a nice clear line from the hands to the hips. You might like to, as you press the palms of the hands into the floor, begin to give a little la cucaracha of the shoulders. And then just a nice deep breath in, perhaps breathing from the hands to the hips on the inhale. And from the tail to the crown on the exhale. One more breath like that. And then use an inhale to rise up, rolling up, bringing your shoulders over your wrists. And then just having the body in, or the spine in neutral, begin to draw the belly back up and in as you bend the elbows in towards the ribs and lower yourself down to the floor. Get comfortable in the floor, so spreading the thighs nicely, spreading the hips nicely, and then take an inhale, letting the actual diaphragm help you lift off the floor. So no effort from the hands, but allowing the inhale and the diaphragm to lift the torso slightly off the floor, and the exhale back down. Hard to show how to do this and talk at the same time. So inhale and lifting. Exhale and release. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release down. One more round. Inhale, lift. Keep the tail long. And exhale, release down. Take one breath there just to relax everything there. And then inhale, push the hands into the floor and peel the torso off. Little back bend now with the support of the hands. And then use the exhalation to peel yourself completely off the floor. Back into cat and then back into, well, what is called puppy pose with the toes tucked and the hands out in front of you. And then inhale, rise up again. And as you do, spring the knees off the floor and come into your full plank pose. Exhale, push back. I was going to offer more, but I see maybe it's not for everybody this morning. Inhale, round forward, back into plank. And exhale, push back into dog. Inhale, round forward into plank. And exhale, push back into dog. Inhale, round forward into plank. Exhale, hold there. And then inhale, lift the left foot. I've got the right foot, but you can lift the left foot if you like. And reach away with the toes. And then exhale, drop down. And then inhale, lift the right foot or the left foot if you're me. And then one more breath. Exhale, release down. And then push back into downward facing dog. Give the shoulders a little bit of a shake. And then step up. Well, let's lift the left leg high into three-legged dog. Keep the hips in line. So we're not opening the hip up, but we're just keeping the hip in line. And then exhale, release that foot back down. And then inhale, lift the right leg up. So the hip is in line. We're not opening the hip here. Take one breath there as you reach into the foot. And then exhale, coil that foot in. Lift the back heel, round through the spine. Take the right foot to the right hand. And then step forward with the left. A little half lift here. And then exhale as you fold over the thighs. Any little adjusting, wriggling, rocking, releasing here can be done. Actually, let's step our our hands in under our feet. You can have the knees as bent as you need to accomplish that. Want the creases of the wrists to come to the little to the toes, to the tip of the toes. And then do a little half lift and really begin to press those feet into the hands as you straighten the elbows in a half lift. And we're just going to hold there. You don't need to hold the breath, of course. And then we take an inhale, and then we use the exhalation to release, bend the elbows and soften the knees, release the hands. You can come up like a ragdoll, or you can come up reverse swan. And that would look like lifting from the lower belly into the heart, flattening the back and reaching the arms out and up as you press the hands, feet into the floor, coming all the way up. Or of course, ragdoll style. And then as you exhale, hands come through the center. Take a breath there. Hands release down, and then we inhale, take the arms out and up as we peel the heels off the floor. Begin to squeeze the inner thighs together, belly in towards the spine. Take an inhale here, and as you exhale, begin to bend the knees slowly, slide the buttocks down, and let the arms just adjust out in front of you. So we're coming into a high-heeled chair. Taking a breath there, just managing the wriggling or the rocking, the shaking. Take one more inhale, and as you exhale, reach forward and down, lift the hips up and drop the heels slowly down to the floor, releasing yourself over your thighs. If you like the blocks there, you can use them as we half lift. And then as we exhale, we're lifting that right leg up, so the foot, the foot is in line with the hip. And just take a moment there as you lengthen from the back heel to the crown. Inhaling once more, and then use the exhale to bend the left knee and guide the back foot to the floor, quietly and in control. Make any adjustments with the feet that you need so you can have lift off as you inhale, rising up with the hands. And as you exhale, just sitting in, reaching the back heel towards the floor. Arms up, but relax the shoulders. Take one inhale here, lengthening up as you press that back heel towards the floor. We're going to use that exhalation to just drop the back heel down. Let that right arm align with the shoulder. And then inhale, reach up into that left arm. And as you exhale, let it drop down in line with the shoulder as well. Virabhadrasana 2. Find your feet. And if you can, find a little lift to the arches of your feet. We did a little rotation or play through the wrist, but you might like to do it through the shoulders this time. So just get all playful and smoochy through the shoulders so that this doesn't become an effort or a discomfort or a tension gathering episode. So try and find even weight in the feet, which can be pretty difficult. Take one breath, north-south axis, east-west axis. And then as you exhale, drop the right hand to the back leg. Lift up directly, left arm, just directly up to the sky. And as you exhale, guide the front knee a little more over the ankle. And then another inhale, maybe to tip yourself slightly backward with the top arm. So we're really opening up that whole left gate of the body. And then on an exhale, we're going to lift up and out of there, straightening that front leg. You might not need another inhale. As you reach up, pressing front foot to the floor, to the hip, and then shoulder back and into the hand, and exhale, folding slowly, just seeing what's there, but not dropping the arm down yet. So you can inhale and lift that right arm, just so it's in line with its own shoulder, and that may be very nice, and it can help keep you from over-efforting in the belly, in the thigh there. But if you've got a little bit more strength, then you take that arm, the right arm in line with the right ear, keep kicking into the back leg, and keep lifting, lifting, lifting. One more inhale here. And as you exhale, you can drop that left arm to the calf, to a block, or if you're super open, to the floor. That right arm can just come back up in line with the shoulder. And if you're working with some strengthening, then you can take the back of the left hand to the inner lower leg and press in, press in, press in as you rotate the torso and arm reaching up. One more breath there. And then as you exhale, slowly releasing that right arm up and over, bringing it towards the block or the floor to the other side, and lifting that back heel so it's now in line with the toes. I couldn't see you there because I was backwards to the camera, but I hope you did well. Good to see that you actually went in, coming out when I turned around. So that's nice. Thanks, Susie. And then we take an inhale just to lengthen, to iron out the body, and just slowly exhale the knee down. Take an inhale as we pull that left hip back. Caroline, you might just need a little bit more space between your front heel and back knee. And then inhale, rock forward. And as I always suggest, as we rock forward, begin to press into that back foot. And then inhale, pull back. Pull the front hip back. That's going to lengthen the front leg. Drop your nose in towards your knee. And then inhale, rocking forward. Press the back foot into the floor and now push the front foot towards the back foot. Back foot towards the front foot. Squeezing into the midline. I know the animals are getting a little crazy here. Inhale, pull back. And you can drop nose in towards knee. Let the foot peel off the floor if you like. And then exhale, rock forward. Begin to press that back foot into the floor, and then as you arrive, lifting chest, chin slightly, begin to press both feet towards each other, into the midline, into the center. And then you can release that and step back with the left foot, bringing the knee at hip distance beside the right. And then placing the hands, the palms down onto the floor. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, I want you to begin to roll the sit bones up and drop the heart low. So the sit bones or the hips don't go towards the heels, but rather stay over the knees. And then you can inhale and tuck the tail under, half round up as you look towards your pubic bone. And then exhale, roll the sit bones up again and drop the heart to the earth. And we're just going to repeat that rounding again. Inhale, tuck the tail under, look up at the belly or your pubic bone, round through the spine. And then exhale, do the opposite, roll the sit bones up, drop the chest down, and maybe you want to do that rounding action one more time, or maybe you're good to stay in. I like to lift the palms of my hands off here and begin to pull back into my underarms. That is not necessarily something you have to do, but you could explore and see if that feels nice for you. Couple of steady breaths. And then as you're ready, keep the elbows down and begin to coil forward, rounding so you come forward. Elbows remaining on the floor, toes are tucked, lifting one knee and then the other, so we come into our elbow plank. Holding there for a moment. You could walk your feet in just a little bit. So as you inhale and lift that right foot, pointing the toes away, is a little bit more stable. And then dropping it back down and then doing the same for the other side. Left leg lifts and then back down. And then just another breath as we inhale our elbow plank, lengthening it out. And then using the exhale to drop the knees, the thighs, the hips, the belly to the earth. And here we are in our Sphinx pose. Press the elbows in to the floor and towards your hips. If that's comfortable for your back, if it's not, then take the elbows forward and wide. And then we're going to take an inhale as we lengthen into our toes, press the tops of the feet into the floor, keep the tail long, shoulders pull away from the ears, elbows into the floor and towards the feet, all of that still going on. Inhale, and then exhale, drop the left shoulder in towards the floor as you turn to look over your right shoulder. And then use that next inhale to come back to the center. And the exhale as we drop the right shoulder in, looking over the left. And just repeat it a couple of times in your own timing, your own enjoyment. So we finished dipping over that left shoulder, looking over the left shoulder, dipping into the right. Inhale, come back to center. And then exhale, press the hands into the floor. You might like a little moment in the still pose here, or the still variation. Keep reaching into those feet, pressing into the floor, catapulting your heart forward, keeping the tail long, drawing that lower belly in and up, and then one more breath. And then exhale, slowly releasing, bringing the hands into the center, stacking one on top of the other, forehead rests, elbows nice and wide. Turn the heels out and your big toes in towards each other. Take a deep breath into the back body, into the belly. Sighing out through the mouth. And repeat a couple of times. Allow the body to begin to rest a little more into the earth. You can begin to just gently rock the hips from side to side as if you're on a fast-moving train. So this is a rhythmic rock, not a mechanical movement. Should be more like a and then just allowing it to fade away. Another deep, nourishing breath into the torso. And then lifting that left foot up and seeing if you can just grab hold of the left foot and gently squeeze the left foot into the buttock or toward the buttock. Just holding it with the left hand and applying to the opposite. And then pull the foot away from you and let it open up the shoulder. And then release that and let the knee come out to the side, to the height of your shoulder, to the height of your hip. So it's just along the floor, the height of your hip. And you can turn your right cheek to the floor to look in the same direction as the bent knee and take a couple of deep breaths. You could even have a little rock back and forth with the hips if you got some enjoyment out of that. And then allow some stillness to be there and take a deep breath into the hip. I'm going to push up with the left hand. So we lift the torso. And then we thread the right arm in under, lay down on our right side and simply roll over to the left. That knee can lift off the floor as much as it needs to in order that you can have the arm come and rest on the floor. It might be that your shoulder doesn't quite, still finds every piece of my clothing to sit on when there's dog blankets and all things around for him. No, it has to be my clothes. So yeah, that shoulder might not make it all the way, but let the arm make it at least, so you can rest there for a bit. Take a few deep breaths into the belly, into the head, into the back. Or maybe for you, you really feel this in the shoulders or the thoracic. So just really be guided by your own body's wisdom. This can be a little bit like a chiropractic adjustment. So you can have a little pull, tug, push to just try and find where you need to release a little bit. My back often clicks here. Then we're going to reach that left arm back out of the way over our head so we can begin to straighten the left leg. Did I say left arm? I meant right. And lay it back on the belly. And as you come back to the belly, we're going to lift that right foot up. Grab hold of it with the right hand and just begin to draw it in to or towards the buttock. Breathe into the front thigh muscle now. That left foot can be gently pressing into the floor as well for some support. And then as you're ready, begin to push the foot away from you and let that open up the right shoulder. You can look up if you like, if you enjoy that experience, or you can, of course, just have the head down and just really be working with trying to pull, have that shoulder be pulled away, even though at the same time we are strengthening that thigh muscle. You could keep pressing that right front hip bone into the floor as well. Take one more breath and then exhale to release. Release the hand and then bring that right knee out along the floor at the height of your whole shoulder. Hip. Turn the left cheek to the floor and just rest here, making yourself nice and comfortable. And if you like, you can add this little hip rock, rocking the hip back and forth. So it sort of massages that right hip, ball and socket joint. And then just come into stillness at some point and take a couple of deepened breaths into the hip. On the exhales, really let everything go. And then we press the right hand into the floor. We peel ourselves off a little, thread the left arm under and through, lay down on the left side, make those adjustments, and then roll over to the right. Lifting that right knee just enough so the right arm can come to the floor, even if the shoulder doesn't match. Some nice deep breaths in to the ribs or the hips or the shoulders, wherever you feel you need it. You might like to explore with some very deep and subtle movements, pressing or pulling. Come on. And then taking your last 1 or 2 breaths there. And on an exhale, let's just roll on to our back. You can just readjust yourself back into the middle of your mat if you're half on, half off. Do you need to place some warmer clothes on now? We are coming into the relaxation aspect, so Please be warm. You might like a little blanket on. It's pretty cool. It's going to be a warm day, but the morning's going to be pretty fresh. So take what you need to be comfortable. Lying yourself down. Excuse me, lying yourself down. Any support that you need under the head, under the knees, please take. And be mindful about how the body is placed. Making sure you're in nice alignment and that all your body feels comfortably placed on the floor. Shoulder blades in towards each other, buttocks flesh down towards the heels. Back of the head lengthening and then resting back into the earth. Take a few deepened breaths. And really begin now to focus on the exhalations. You might even be extending the exhalations a little more than the inhales. But not in a way that's effortful or depleting in any way. Just allow the focus to remain more fully on the exhale. And perhaps that intention, that focus is enough to extend the exhale. But the exhale shouldn't be an effort. So allowing each passing exhale to melt another muscle. And whenever you're ready, you can just allow the breath to calibrate itself. And so all efforts, all control dissolves. And we find ourselves simply watching the natural spontaneous breath. You might like to continue to just focus a little bit more on the exhalations and allowing the muscles to drop a little more completely with each passing exhalation. And as you begin to notice the body beginning to spread and open, which is the sensations that you have as you begin to relax. Just begin to become aware of the natural healing that is taking place in your body right now. See if you can simply awaken your awareness to the ongoing healing that is occurring in your body right now. Feel the healing. Feeling into the healing. your whole body healing on some level. And then you can begin to gently turn to the inhalations again. Allowing now the inhalations to enter the body like a summer's breeze through open windows. Disturbing none of the ease and relaxation cultivated. And you can begin to invite movement back into the body as you're ready. Perhaps a little twinkle of the fingers and toes, or movement of the wrists and ankles. Or maybe you want to squeeze the thighs in or reach the arms overhead, or simply roll over onto a comfortable, uninjured side. And take a couple of breaths there. Knowing that that healing continues to work its magic even as we begin to come out of that awareness. You can press into opposite hand to come up. Bringing our hands together into prayer at the heart center. Oh, thank you. I love to see you all there. And just taking a moment to feel the precious breath enter and exit the body now that we're coming back into our waking reality, which is no more true than our sleeping reality, according to Vedanta philosophy. And feel again into the healing, not the potential healing, but the healing that's taking place. Namaste.